Stay connected with KFI News on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks. I'm Shannon Farron.
911, what is your emergency?
Hey, this motherfucker's naked, broke in my house. He run in my house naked.
Then she said to me, take off your clothes. So I took off my underwear, so I was naked there.
And she had taken pictures of him naked.
You were nude too, right?
And at that point, I took off my clothes.
I was like, no way, he's not naked. He's naked.
Naked and in front of a crowd.
And now, an update from the John and Ken Naked Desk.
Yes!
Here's John and Ken.
Brand new introduction.
All right.
It's the newest desk here at the John and Ken Show, the Naked Desk.
It is.
Joins the Health and Size Desk and the Execution Desk.
News from around the world.
And, there's a lot of people who cannot keep their clothes on.
News
You
of the
were nude
nude.
too, right?
Yeah, there you go. I knew Larry King would make it in there. We begin this very important update with one bizarro story. Politico magazine apparently has a featured article called The Secret History of Women in the Senate. There's some good stuff in there, but we'll just focus on this. New U.S. Senator Kay Hagan just wanted to swim. It was late 2008, and the Democrat was newly arrived on Capitol Hill as North Carolina's junior senator-elect. But Hagan was told that the Senate pool was males only. Why? Some of the male senators like to swim naked. I see Ted Kennedy floating around in there.
Oh, I bet you he was one of them.
I bet
it's
the first senator I thought of.
That big, bloated, corrupt bastard probably would be right in the center on a raft. Yeah, and drinking.
Yeah, I was going to say, and a little wasted.
Yeah, and some 19-year-old spread across him.
It took an intervention by Senator Chuck Schumer of New York, head of the Rules Committee, to put a stop to the practice, but it was even a fight then.
And you know what? This story also says that women in the Senate have always had a rough time. For decades in the 20th century, after women first joined, many male senators were hardly more than corrupt frat boys with floor privileges, reeking of alcohol and making little secret of their sexual dalliances with constituents, employees, and any other hapless female they could grab. Oh. This is what we've always said. Politico's confirming it. All they do there is drink and try to bang the women. And then they go swimming naked in the pool.
And there wasn't
They're
even
pigs.
enough restrooms for the female senators. The restroom closest to the Senate floor that was set aside for women senators had only 2 stalls. But by 2013, there were 20 women in the Senate, causing restroom traffic jams. Otherwise, you'd have to traipse to the first floor restroom far from the chamber to use the bathroom.
These are all these women's rights Democrats who are running the Senate too, right?
Yeah.
They wouldn't even give their a female senator a bathroom stall to pee in. God, they're such phonies. They're such pigs.
News of the nude story number 2 actually popped up last year, came around this week with a plea of not guilty. It's our favorite LAPD officer, allegedly, not allegedly LAPD, but allegedly guilty of this crime, Ryan Eric Gallagher, who, while he is an LAPD officer, lives in Huntington Beach, and he's being accused of exposing himself to females in some nature reserve down there over a period of time.
No.
The victims ranged in age from 12 to 80.
Nude is natural.
So he wasn't, but he also pleasured himself.
Oh.
Yeah, but it's
you don't like that, right?
It's a nature reserve.
Here's some of the
What
stories.
What does he look like? Just curious.
I
have a small picture. Yeah, I don't know if you can see him. He's
I
kind of losing his hair, kind of grim-faced in the photo. Just a typical.
It's a mugshot, so he would be grim-faced. Yeah.
Well, no. Remember the guy in Florida that cut off his mother's head? He was smiling.
that's
you never know.
Funny.
It's a different breed.
It's a different breed.
Look, she was annoying him to get the boxes out of the attic. Okay, so
are you justifying that?
No, he's not.
Oh, okay. Just wondering.
Well, I always justify.
You don't like being nagged, so I thought maybe.
Huh? Well, I just.
You're a little bit of solidarity.
No,
there.
what I'm saying is I'm just noticing what the trigger was. That's all. I'm just pointing out the
Off
trigger.
with your head. On October 20th, Gallagher, a Huntington Beach resident, is accused of standing naked.
He's not bad looking.
In the Bolsa Chica wetlands, whistling to 2 19-year-old and 18-year-old women jogging and exposing himself.
Oh, you can't do that.
They arrested him 3 days later after he pulled down his shorts and began pleasuring himself in public. He just had a
That's too
compulsion.
bad.
Couldn't control.
He looks pretty normal, too. I mean, he looks like your everyday cop.
Yeah. Yeah,
You know, he doesn't look like he's going to whip it out.
He doesn't have the crazy face.
No.
He allegedly exposed himself twice to a 12-year-old girl on February 27th and March 10th of last year. And then later, another victim was 80.
Oh.
Another time,
80?
so June 17th, he's out there wearing only tennis shoes. Oh, yes, they call him the street. He exposed himself to a 43-year-old woman in the wetlands area.
So it was just...
So he liked to go out to the wetlands. Yeah, you like the name?
No.
Oh. And he liked to stand there nude or at least just with shorts on and wait for the right, well, any women to come along.
The age range fascinates me.
Yeah.
You think you'd have a type, right?
Nah, no
You
type.
think the fantasy would be a
Just
certain
as long as
type
it's a
of
female.
woman. Yeah, but an
And he's 33.
An 80-year-old? A 12-year-old?
Well, you said that this is like a stepping stone, right? To more niche crime.
I think, yeah.
You think it is?
Sure, you get bored. Guys get bored with their sexual perversions, and then they need a bigger hit. They need something.
That may be true for like that teacher Mark Burnt who moved up to the nasty cookies.
I think every guy gets. If every guy had the same exact sex day after day after day, that's why guys go running around, pouring champagne down women's butts, like Steve Croft. It's because I'm sure he could have had ordinary sex with his wife, but that wasn't doing it anymore. And one day he brought in a champagne bottle, and she goes, "What the hell are you doing with that?"
He should ask his wife. I think some men are scared to ask their wives, "Hey, what about this?"
Well, I read this the other day. You know who Dan Savage is? He's the sex columnist.
No.
He's been around. Remember Savage Love? He's like a gay sex columnist. He was famous for a short period of time, but he still writes about this stuff. And I read a clip of him the other day, and he said women always say to their guy, "Oh, go ahead, tell me your fantasies," and to try to lure the guy into telling, the deep secrets. And he said that's a huge mistake because he's not going to say, "Oh, let's go to Paris on Friday." He's going to say, "I'd love to have a threesome with you and your sister."
Do women really think the guy's going to say, "I want to go to Paris"?
I think so.
Really?
I think that's what they're hoping,
No.
that it's going to be a romantic fantasy that the woman's really going to be flattered by.
That's hilarious.
And it's not. It is going to be a threesome with your sister.
Of course.
Yeah, with the champagne down the butthole and the whole deal. So never ever try to get your guy to talk about his fantasies, because then you're going to find out he wants to run to the wetlands and pleasure himself in front of an 80-year-old.
I disagree.
Yeah,
Gallagher has been placed on administrative leave. He was with the LAPD Southwest Division. He was an officer there at the time of the crimes. He is free on $100,000 bail. I wonder if is he getting paid administrative leave? I'm not clear on that. Charlie Bleck says we'll reserve judgment until we do a full investigation.
he's going to reserve judgment.
Naked story number 3.
All right.
From Shannon Farron. I don't know why I like this one. A man apparently walks into a CVS pharmacy, heads to the store's men's room, takes off all his clothes, then walks through the pet aisle, takes out 6 dog beds, and just lies down on 3 of them.
I don't see what the problem with this one is. I mean, no victim, no crime.
No dogs involved, right?
He was taking a nap.
He's just laying down in the dog bed naked. I mean, they look really comfortable and soft.
All right, yeah, but is it face down or face up?
I don't know. They found him there. 22-year-old Jeremiah Patterson, and yes, it is Florida again.
Well, you can't.
And this is New Year's Eve.
Well, yeah.
He's resting up.
He couldn't find a date.
What is wrong with Florida?
A lot.
There's got to be a genetic investigation in Florida.
Oh, and the CVS wants money because the beds have been defiled.
Well, you can't sell that to
Sure
a dog.
you can.
No, not if-
give me a break.
Not if he was sleeping
They claim they
face
can't
up.
sell them now.
No, no one's going to buy that.
Butt down.
You don't need to disclose that. There's no law that says you need to disclose that on a dog bed.
That a naked
CVS.
man slept here?
No.
Oh, you think the dog's going to care?
Give me a break.
That's not going to offend the dog.
Coming up next, more Cosby accusers surfaced today. Gloria Allred special, 3 more women.
Show KFI.